All right, so Siobhan says she sort of has a suspicion, but isn't really sure. Anyone else? Okay. All right, so again, please turn on your video unless you don't have one, but most people should have one. Otherwise, I can't really do the readings. All right, so before we get started, there are some things. First of all, I'm recording this, am I? Yes, okay, recording's turned on. Second of all, my name is Yamile Yemoonyah. I guess you know that, otherwise you wouldn't be here, but still, if someone doesn't know me, my name is Yamile. And you can find me at spiritguides.co. Also, you can come join our Facebook group if you haven't yet. That's spiritguideschool.com. And it will redirect you and bring you to the Facebook group. And then there are a few things that you need to know also before we get started. The first one is how I define spirit guides, because everyone does it different. There are different traditions, like the shamanic traditions and the spiritualist traditions. They all have different definitions. So I count any kind of being that helps us with our spiritual development, but also in daily life. Yeah, any being that helps us with these things that is from a higher dimension, I call all of them spirit guides. So that includes angels, it includes ancestor spirits, it includes nature beings, it includes star beings, ascended masters, gods, goddesses, and power animals or totem animals. The second thing that you need to know is that spirit guides show themselves in a way that makes sense to you. So they don't really have a physical form like we do. They are basically just made out of light, energy, but they show themselves so you, as a human being, because we have our egos and can't deal with a blob of light, so it makes sense to us. So sometimes they might show up as a Disney figure, for example, and our little ego says like, oh, that's bullshit, I saw a Disney figure, that can't be my spirit guide. But yes, it can be, because maybe you watched, I don't know, Pocahontas as a child, and so your spirit guide shows up as Pocahontas, and you're like, that's weird, that can't be right. But yes, it's right. It's just they take on the form that makes sense to you. So just go with it. The second thing, also the same goes for names. Spirit guides don't really have names in that sense. They have an energy, and you can feel their energy, and that's really their name. But they give us a name so we can deal with it, because we're humans and we're very much about, I need a name, I need a name. So they give us a name. Also, if you don't get a name, don't worry about it. Like I said, it's not about the name, it's about the energy. Make sure you know what their energy feels like. That's how you recognize them. The third thing you need to know is, even if you know one of your guides, when I do the readings in a minute, others might come through, not the ones that you already know of. Why is that? Because I don't control who's coming through, they control who's coming through. And also, if you already know your guide, you don't need me to introduce you, because you already know each other. So sometimes they still do, like even if you know them, because for like extra validation, for example, but sometimes it's someone, or yeah, a guide that you don't know about. And then one more thing is that even if a message that you get through me from your guide doesn't make sense right away, just yeah, take it as it is for now and see what comes after. Like maybe over the next week you'll get signs that validate the message, or over the next month maybe, or sometimes you get a message and 10 years later it's suddenly like, oh my god, now I understand what that was about. At least that has happened for me before. So just take it as it is, and don't just say like, oh, that's bullshit, I don't know what that means, so I don't, just forget it. Yeah, and then the last thing I want to talk to you about is how I work, because a lot of people ask me like, how does that work? Like, how do you get these messages? Well, the thing is, I close my eyes usually, and usually my head goes like this. It goes to the left because it's like they're here and I can hear them here. Not really, they are not physical again, but it's kind of like that's the feeling. And what I get is images, so I'm clairvoyant, which means I see the being. Like I said, this could be like a Disney figure, or it could be like a, sometimes I have like spirit guides that show themselves like Star Wars like characters, or so all kinds, but also very different. So they basically show themselves in a way that makes sense to me and to you, because they basically talk to both of us. And they use like my knowledge and everything that's in my brain to relay the message. And then I either say it as it is, as I see it, or I know it's a symbol for something and I interpret it the way that I think it makes sense for you. So when I do the messages, I will also ask you, like, when I say something, I'll oftentimes say, does that make sense to you? Then please say yes or no. You don't have to elaborate, but just say yes or no, so I know that I can like go on in that direction. Because it's a little bit like being a detective. I get like these signs and symbols and I have to make sense of it, and sometimes it's hard. So if you say yes, then I know, okay, so this is a, like, yeah, this makes sense, so I go after that. I follow the breadcrumbs, basically. Because, you know, like readings are not a science, they're more an art. So yeah, you're part of it and you have to help in that sense. All right, so now we're gonna close our eyes and take a few deep breaths. Calm our minds. To relax our bodies. All the way up our heads to our toes. Especially also the face, around the eyes. Just let it all go. And one more deep breath. And now I'm calling on my guides to come help me deliver the messages to you that you are supposed to get from your guides. I also specifically call on Archangel Michael to protect this space so only beings of the light and of the higher dimensions can come through. And I also call on your guides, especially the ones that have messages for you, to come through and use me as a channel to give you these messages. And so it is. Thank you. All right, you can open your eyes again and we can get started. We have one or two new people. One more time, just to remind you, please turn on your video, your camera, because that makes it easier for me to connect and give you the messages. All right, so let's see who wants to go first. I think I'll just go by, we're not too many people, so I'll start at the top the way I see it. So we'll go with Alex first. I'll unmute you. Okay, and let's see. And I'll pin your image so I can see you a little bit clearer. Okay. All right. So at the moment I see two beings. One is a star being and one is an ascended master. Do you have a preference for either of them?
No.
Okay. And let's see who wants to come through. Okay, so the star being wants to come through. It's a male. And he shows himself like in a classic alien form, like a gray. And he says his message is about you feeling like an outsider in your life. He says this has been a topic throughout your life. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. He says it's you feel this way because in a sense you really are an outsider because your roots are not on planet Earth but in another star system. I think it's Orion. So you've spent life in the Orion star, lives actually, like a lot of lives in the Orion star system. More so than here on Earth. So that makes you feel more like a visitor here. And that's why you feel like an outsider. He says the things that make you feel like an outsider, like the parts of your character that you think don't fit in here on planet Earth or with humanity, your community, your family, are actually the ones that are the most important because these are the ones that you came here to share with the planet and humanity and your community and your family. He says it's not important that other people validate you, it's more important that you validate yourself. And he gives me an example from my life as an illustration. As a kid, I was super sensitive and I always felt like I didn't know how to deal with that and I never knew how to fit in because everything was just too much. But in the end, I figured out that my sensitivity is a gift because it allows me to do these readings, for example. And so the same thing is true for you. Like the things that you don't like about yourself, it's important that you recognize these and acknowledge them as gifts and then start using them. Because that's basically, they are a big part of your purpose. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's Orion. So, he says he's been with you since you came here to Earth. And he's a part of a group of star beings from Orion, but actually also even a bigger group of star beings from all kinds of star systems who work with the star beings that incarnated here on Earth as humans. He says you're good with technology. Does that make sense to you?
I'm not sure.
Okay, then maybe what he means is that okay, so what I think he means is that you're basically like an antenna or like a transmitter in between the Orion star system and Earth. But yeah, he insists about technology, so it's not just symbolic. Maybe there is something about technology that you should look into. A lot of star beings, like humans that are connected to star beings, make use of the internet for one way or the other. Actually, the internet was invented by humans that are in contact with star beams. So maybe you should look into that. Yeah, and the only other thing he wants you to know for now is that, yeah, he's with you and he helps you. He sends you signs. He wants you to pay more attention to these signs. He doesn't give me a name, but he shows me the color blue. I'm not sure. You have a blue crystal? He's talking about a blue crystal. I'm not sure if you already have it or if he's saying that you should get one. Do you have a blue crystal?
I think I have one.
Okay. Well, if you already have one, that's like the way that you can talk to him. Like if you hold the crystal, because the crystal is a little bit like an antenna that tunes you into his frequency. But if you feel like if you go look for that crystal and you feel that's not it, then you should go find one. Like go to a crystal shop or go online or whatever your preference is. Browse a little bit and you'll find it. You'll find the right one. He'll show you which one. You'll have a feeling. Yeah, and that's it for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
All right, so who wants to go next? Anyone who hasn't had any readings yet, who has never been to any of my readings? Siobhan, have you been? Okay, well, then you're up next. All right, let me pin your video for a second. Okay. I think it's an animal spirit. Can't see very clearly yet. Okay, yeah, I see a wolf. It's a black, I think it's a black wolf. It's a female. And I see her with, I'm not sure what you call like wolf children, cubs. I'm not sure. But yeah, 3 of them. 2 males, 1 female. You see them walking through a forest that's at the bottom of a mountain range, and the mountains are snow covered. At least the tops are snow covered. She's heading up the mountain to her home that's like halfway to the top. They have a cave there. And in that cave, I see like paintings like cave paintings, especially hands. I'm not sure yet why she's showing me this, but I'll just tell you what I see. Does any of this make sense to you or ring a bell in some way?
The wolf does, yes.
Okay. Let's see. I think it has something to do with being a caregiver in some way, or being responsible for others, or making sure that
That would make
Sorry?
that would make sense.
Okay. She's drawing my attention back to these like cave drawings. Still not sure exactly why. Definitely has to do with the people that made them. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to ask some questions like, for example, where is this?
Okay.
So I'll just do that in my mind. I'll ask some questions and see what comes back. Okay, so it's in France. It's really weird. Actually, it's not in France. It's somewhere in the US, but there's a connection to the cave drawings in France. I'm trying to figure out what it is. I know like she's talking about these famous caves in France, like Lascaux and some others. I'm not sure. So I'll just say what I think it might be. It might be that there is something with past lives. If you had a past life and that you either lived in France at that time or in the US at that time. I also see, okay, so I think it's that, yeah, there was a past life for you in that, during that time. And actually you met that spirit back then. And back then this wolf was like a real life wolf. And she shows me you as a child in the woods by yourself when you met this wolf. And you weren't afraid, and that's what made her curious. She shows me how she like walks up to you as that little child back then. And you're wearing like this nightgown, white nightgown, which is a little dirty. It looks like you got lost in the woods. So she walks up to you and she's curious because you're not afraid, and I see her like sniffing you. And then you pet her. She was so surprised by that somehow like your spirits became friends, and so she's still around you.
Oh.
When you were found by your parents, but she sometimes would come around and see how you are. And at one point, one of your people saw her and went after her because they were afraid and they wanted to kill her, but you saved her somehow. You created some kind of distraction and you saved her. And so yeah, you've become friends basically. She says she's here to remind you of that lifetime because there's something about that lifetime that's important for now. Oh, okay. So she says it's about like this not being afraid. Even if you're basically staring something in the eyes that you should be afraid of, what you should be afraid of. She says if you send it light and love, it will become your friend instead of your enemy. Does that make sense to you?
Very much so.
Okay. She says she's around you. She will be until the end of your life. And if you feel afraid, then you can always just imagine that she's there. Just visualize her, and she will be with you at that point, at that moment. And she will give you the courage that you need for whatever it is. Yeah, just imagine her being with you and feeling like her, what's that called? Fur. She says her little ones are around you sometimes. They play around you. I see them. They're very cute. Oh, and she says when if something in your house like falls over or it's not where it was before, that was like her little ones, because they were playing in your house. Yeah, I think that was it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so who wants to go next? Still have Eva and Haneen. You guys have been to a reading before, right? Yes, I know. Okay, Eva, you're next. Do you want me to connect you to the guide I connected you with last time, or doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Also, can you? I hardly can hear you. Can you cut closer?
Do you hear me now?
A little bit, but it's not very clear. Okay, let me turn up my volume. All right, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let me see. Also not very clear yet, so. Oh, there you go. It's an angel. Shows herself, it's a female, in a very traditional way, like the Christian traditional way with big white wings and a white gown. Blonde hair. Actually, wait, blonde? Yeah, blonde. Let's see what she has to say. Well, she's giving you a hug. She says you're loved. So sometimes you don't believe it, but you are. She says you're not alone. She says it's the times that you do feel alone. It's not because you are, but it's because you shut yourself off from other people in some way. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. She says you're afraid to open your heart. She wants you to do, she wants you to work on your heart chakra. It doesn't matter how you do it, but for example, you could go to YouTube and just type in heart chakra meditation. Just find one of these guided meditations. There's hundreds. So just find one and do it. Do this on a regular basis. Over the next 30 days, once a day. If possible, when you wake up in the morning, like right after you wake up. Don't even get out of bed. Do it while you're still in bed. Like take your smartphone and find the meditation and do it. And she wants you to get a, get what it's called, like these green crystals. Actually, like this one. Well, this is like, I don't know if anyone knows which crystal this is. Can you see it? Yeah. And while you do the meditation, like put that crystal on your heart. It doesn't have to be a big one or expensive one, just like a little one is enough. Excuse me. Yes. And she says every time you feel lonely, then also do this heart chakra meditation. It doesn't always have to be the same one, by the way. It doesn't matter. You can find different ones. It doesn't have to be from YouTube. You can also find it somewhere else, but some kind of like heart chakra meditation. So yeah, when you feel lonely in some way, then also do this meditation. Because she says when you open your heart, the easier it is for others to, well, connect with you. And know that she's always around you. And she loves you very much. And she's giving you a big hug again. I can really feel her love. It's amazing. It's really deep. She says that's really all you have to know. Yeah.
Thank you.
So which guide was it last time? I'm curious because I always forget, because when I do the readings, I'm kind of not really here.
It was Angel
Also, okay.
And the before was a lady from Century, I don't know.
Okay. So do you have a feeling it might be the same one?
For before Angel, I think she is, but the lady, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a little bit more information this time from Angel, yes. For heart opening, I am a little bit close.
Okay.
So it's great guidance, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so, and now we have Haneen. Right, I remember you don't have a camera, but I'll unmute you. Are you there? Haneen? Hello? So I see you typed something. Are you still here? Can you type something? Guess not. All right, well then, does anyone else have questions? No questions? Okay, then I have a question for you guys. Like, what is your main clair? Like, there's clairvoyance, which is like seeing. There's clairaudience, which is hearing. There's clairsentience, which is feeling things. There's clairscent, which is smelling things. And there's clairgustance, which is like tasting things. So why I'm asking this is because if you know what your main clair is, it makes it much easier for you to connect to your spirit guides. Because a lot of people will think that clairvoyance is the only way to do it and the only valid way to do it, but that's not true. So yeah, for example, clairvoyance, yeah, that's what I do. I see images. But clairvoyance could also be that you actually physically see something. And that's true for all of the clairs. All of them can manifest in an objective way, that you actually, for example, hear a voice that's outside of your head, or subjectively that you hear a voice inside of your head. And that voice might sound like your own inner voice, because spirit guides use your inner voice to communicate with you. The same goes for smelling. Like some people will smell the perfume of their grandma that passed, or the cigar smoke of their grandfather that passed, for example. And the same is also true for clairgustance. Like you can taste, I don't know, like the favorite dish your mom made when you were a child, for example. And also for these clairs, the same goes. Like it can be that you actually smell something that's outside of you, or you just imagine smelling it. So what do you think is your main clair? I'll unmute all of you. All right, So who knows? Alex, do you know what your main clair is?
I'm not sure actually, but I tend to see stuff, especially when I am in bed, and but only when my eyes are closed.
Yeah, that's
So
subjective.
I tend to see lots of images,
Okay.
and it happened to me. I don't know, like 2 times. It was like in the dream, and I saw something, and it was really like I was watching a video. It
Yeah,
was some kind of cool.
yeah, that happens. Exactly.
And in the last week or 2 weeks, I don't know, I still like keep like start singing the same song.
Ah, interesting. So
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
so the one is from Queen, We Are the Champions.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is from Eric Clapton, and it's, I don't know how it's called now, but it's the lyrics. It's can you I don't know, like remember my name when we meet in the heaven.
Oh yeah. That's the one he
It's
wrote.
after.
That's
It's
the one he
what
wrote after his child
after his,
died.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Interesting. So yeah, so I'm guessing that your first one is clairaudience, but then your second one is clairaudience, because a lot of clairaudient people will hear songs like in their head. So yeah, pay attention to that, like what these songs may mean to you, because they're probably messages from your guides. But don't
Yeah,
go by what it means for other people. Go by what it means for you in your life. Yeah, and the
and
same goes also for like things that you see. Don't like, of course, you can go online and research like what, for example, if you keep seeing number 1111, you can go online and research like what does 1111 mean. But way more important is what it means for you. Does it remind you of something in your childhood? Does it I don't know, is it someone's birthday, November 11th? Think back, like bring it back to your own life. That's way more important. Okay, so what about Siobhan? What is your main Claire? What do you think?
To feel clear sentience.
Yeah,
I
okay.
feel a lot, emotions, vibes, energy. Yeah, I feel all the time.
Yeah. So you're an empath.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Do you think you have a second one?
Um, Sometimes I see things if I meditate. And you were speaking earlier on about hearing voices. Sometimes I do that. I hear that inside as well.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. That's clairaudience then. Awesome. So what about Eva? What's yours?
Well, I don't know really. I maybe see, but it's interesting because I see only with open eyes. When I close, there's no image.
Oh, right. Interesting. Well, then keep your eyes open.
Yes, I daydream or something. Better
Yeah,
with
yeah.
eyes open than closed. But I sense something tingling or, but nothing. I could say it's. I'm still in beginning.
Yeah. Well, these are one of the first things that you have to figure out for yourself when you want to like develop your spiritual gifts. The clairs is very important. So, for example, how you can also train your clairs is when you do guided meditations and you pay attention to like what you see during the meditation, what you hear during the meditation, what you feel during the meditation. Like really go through your mind. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I feel? What do I smell something? Do I taste something? And then after a while, if you do that like 7, 8, 9, 10 times, then you will know which, yeah, clair is stronger for you. And then you can work with that much better. Yeah. Do you have questions about that? No? All right. So then I have one more question that I'm curious about because we still have some time. How did you get onto like the spiritual path? Like how did that happen? Does anyone want to share that?
I went on an angel workshop.
Oh, okay. Was that Doreen Virtue shop? Yeah. Oh, nice. But you must have been.
No, it was.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I was interested for a while, and someone local here in South Africa, in Langebaan, was doing it, and I thought I'll give it a bash and see what it was about, and that kick-started my whole journey.
Right. Okay. So, and before that, how did you get interested, like, in going to that workshop? Did you have any, like, something that happened? To see something?
I never had courage before, and I just thought, stuff it, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna try, or go, shall I say.
Yeah, nice. That's very cool. And did you believe in angels when you were a child, or not at all?
Yes, I did. I've always believed sort of in the other side, even though I was Christian. I've always believed in angels and fairies and things like that.
Okay. That's awesome. What about Alex? How did you get started?
There were like different like occasions, but the main one for me was we have in my country, we have, I don't know if it's in other countries as well, but we have something that's called like dark therapy. And you stay for a week in a cottage and there are no windows and it's like completely dark all the time. Like 7 weeks, it's completely dark and you
7
stay there.
weeks?
Yeah, 1 week.
Oh, 1 week. Wow,
1 week.
That's intense.
Yeah. And I really like didn't know what to expect. And you know, you would expect that it's gonna be dark all the time. But for 4 days, there was so much light and I was downloading something like some lights and some grids and you know, and it was so like kind of like crazy, but I wasn't afraid. So I was just keep downloading this stuff. And I don't know, like after 2 months, I started to speak light language. So I think it was connected somehow. Yeah, so it was kind of cool.
That's amazing. Which country are you from?
I'm from the Czech Republic.
I would love to do that sometime. Like a whole week just in darkness. I would love to see what happens.
Yeah, you can go for 49 days max.
Wow.
I think 7 days was like enough, like really enough.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wow. That's really interesting. Thanks for sharing. What about you, Siobhan?
Oh no, I did share mine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Eva. Sorry.
Inner hungry, that there is something, I don't know.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Some inner yearning. I know that there is something more, but and I attract to that side of spirituality, etc. And in high school mostly, I know about Hay House, about Mind Valley, and etc.
Yeah.
But angels, I don't have connection before. I don't just like Christian, like God and fairy. It's not but close to my heart. But for last year, I began to reading about angels and more.
Yeah.
And mostly tragedy, deaths, and in family, in my personal life, and so I guess I'm here to experience this stuff and to move step ahead.
Yeah.
On the ladder.
Oh, that's really interesting. Well, oh yeah, I didn't even look at the chat. What did you guys say? Oh. Alex says she has an ancestor spirit that you know about. Wow. And then, oh yeah, from the quiz you had nature spirit. Also interesting. Yeah, we all have, by the way, we all have like a whole team of spirits around us, not just one. So that's totally possible. Oh, you're welcome, Shiwan. Saying your name right.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that name. I knew someone years ago that had the same name. So yeah. Oh, Haneen, are you back?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's see. Yeah, we can still do a quick reading.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. So you don't have a camera, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. By the way, do I say your name right, Haneen?
Yeah, you're saying it right.
Okay, awesome. I'm always wondering when I see your name and then I forget to ask you. All right. Today they all take their time to come through. I'm not sure who this is, but I do get like one word,
Okay.
which is courage.
It's so funny. I've been thinking of, writing that word and working on it because I really need a lot of courage.
Okay, well, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see what else comes. So there's, I don't get a lot, but I'll just tell you what I see and hear. Maybe it will
Okay.
come together. So I first the word courage, and I heard it, and I also saw it like written, and it was all like every letter was capitalized. It was like huge.
Okay.
And then a big red heart.
Okay, interesting.
First, the word, the way I saw it, was like black on a gray background, and now it's like the background is getting darker, and it's like, oh, okay. So the background is getting like the universe, and I can see like stars in the background, and the letters become now they're made of light, and they're shining like towards me.
Okay. Interesting.
I think there's a connection to the angelic realm, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm really not sure. I'm also seeing a lion.
Interesting. Okay.
And I feel there's some kind of like connection to the star system, but I'm not sure which one. Is there a star system that has to do with lions? Anyone know?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but I have a feeling there is somewhere a connection.
Wouldn't it have to do with the Leo, like the zodiac?
No, I don't think so.
Last time you told me it was from Sirius.
Okay. Then definitely like the whole universe star system thing makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But I'm not sure about the lion though.
Yeah, maybe the line is just to like basically emphasize the courage part.
Maybe.
There's a female energy, but I don't know what it is. It seems like it comes from above in the sense that she's older. Right, so this could mean that it's an ancestor, but it could also mean that it's older in a spiritual sense. Could mean it's definitely female though.
Okay.
Okay.
Could it be a goddess?
Yes, interesting. That I was just going to say because I did see pyramids earlier, and I wasn't sure what
Okay.
connection. I know that like the pyramids have to do with Orion, but it didn't feel like Orion. But and then the lion, and now I think it's actually the goddess Sekhmet.
Segment?
Yeah, I can write it down for you.
Yeah, please.
There's an H in there somewhere. I think it's spelled like this.
Okay.
I know her. She has a lion head, like the head of a female lion.
Oh, really? That's
think-
interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But like, if this is not the name, then it's definitely the goddess with the lion head.
I just googled it. Yeah, it is her.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so there's definitely the connection to Egypt, and she shows me a book that I once read, which is called Initiation by Elizabeth someone. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Her last name is Elizabeth.
So she's asking me to read it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
She says when you read that book, that will trigger knowledge in you and it will set things free inside of you that are important for you to know.
Okay.
I'll write it down for you.
Yeah, please.
Initiation by Elizabeth. Someone. I know it's a kind of like German, Austrian, Swiss name, but I'm not sure what it is. I think
I'll find it on Amazon, right?
I don't know. Like it's a pretty old book, so just Google it and see if you can find it. And otherwise, if you can't find it, like maybe post in the group and tag me, and I'll help you find it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Is there anything else? Okay, so she says like there's a lot that has to do with this whole topic with like Egypt and this book, and she can't like give all the information in a few minutes. But she says like if you read that book, then it'll become clear.
Okay.
And there is also that connection to Sirius that also plays in with this whole thing. I'm not sure if this is like if Sirius is mentioned in the book. It's too long ago that I read it, but if it is mentioned, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. I hope this was helpful for you guys. And yeah, if you can obviously also book a private session with me. You can find me at spiritguides.co. You can find all the information there. Then I can obviously, can go deeper into the message and give you more information. And if you're not in our Facebook group yet, come join us. I give like tips about how to communicate, and you can find this Facebook group in it's spiritguideschool.com. So spiritguideschool.com, and that will redirect you to the Facebook group, and you can join us. And I think that's it. Let me look at my notes because I tend to forget stuff. Yeah, I'll just do a quick closing. We're very grateful for the spirit guides that came through, and I am especially grateful for my spirit guides to help me give you the messages from your guides. I'm closing the connection now for me and for you. We can go back to our lives, not be oversensitive and be bombarded by the energies all the time. But know that you can open your channels anytime to talk to your guides. And I thank Archangel Michael for protecting our space. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks for coming. I hope it was helpful. It was fun for me, as always. And I'll see you around. All right.
Yeah, thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Esme.
Bye.